Hello everybody, my name is Brandon Hopkins and this is going to be my review of the HOVSCO HovBeta 20-inch foldable flat tire e-bike. This is an awesome 750 watt e-bike that has some rather impressive features and specifications in comparison to some of the competitors. So in this video, what we're going to be doing is talking about the process of putting it together, setting it up, overviewing the actual specifications of the bike, covering some of the bonus features that you don't see on a lot of other e-bikes, and then finally talking about my review and my overall experience riding the thing. It's shipped in a standard size box that you'd expect an e-bike like this to be in, and overall the assembly process was incredibly straightforward. All we needed to do was put on the front tire, which actually has a really easy to use release lever, which is nice. We had to attach the handlebar, and other than that, it was mostly assembled. Initially, I did have some issues setting it up because you're required to use an application on your phone and connect it up to Bluetooth, but because of some recent updates, this is no longer an issue, and they have both an iPhone and Android application available on their website. And if you don't have access to a cell phone application, there are other ways to activate it, which is required if you want to be able to unlock the full speed of the bike. And now we are going to move on to some of the specifications. And thanks to this little flyer that was attached to the bike, this is going to help us out. The tires are 20-inch by 4-inch fat tires, which really do help out in different terrain conditions and when it's raining and all that. More surface area is definitely preferred. The battery capacity is 720 watt hours, and it is a 750 watt motor, but it does have a peak up to 1032 watts. And for me, I've always found that 750 watts is kind of like the sweet spot to be able to get up to speed and go up hills with absolutely minimal issues. This does feature a torque sensor, which we're going to be diving into in just a little bit. Out of the box, it is a class 2 e-bike after you go ahead and activate it. So you're going to get up to 20 miles per hour on the throttle and 28 miles per hour on the pedal assist. Now when it comes to the range, you're going to get 40 miles on throttle and 60 miles using pedal assist, but obviously this is going to depend on how you actually ride the bike. And then finally we have our max load of 450 pounds, which is appreciated. And I mean, fully assembled, don't get me wrong, this thing is definitely a beauty. If you don't prefer the step-through model, which is definitely my preference, they do have non-folding A-frame models, but the whole folding functionality of this thing is definitely worth it. All of the levers are quick release, so you really don't have to like unscrew anything or fight with it. Here real quick, I'm going to show you how easy it really is to unfold it. First, you pop down the handlebar lever, and then the handlebars will swing down and kind of into the body of the bike, really saving space. And then from there, for the pedals, you just push them in and the mechanism will unlock, and then you fold them up or down to save some space there. And then finally, there's a rather large lever on the bottom folding point of the bike right next to the pedals, and it works just the same as the handlebars. Throw the kickstand up, and then you just go ahead and fold over the bike. And it has a little bracket that sticks down, so you can either rest it standing up or you can actually use it to carry the bike away. This whole functionality, especially with the bike this powerful, is really nice, because you could go ahead, fold it up, throw it back in your car, and take it somewhere just a little out of range to go ahead and have a pretty cool time. And the actual folding mechanism, or the ability for it to fold, it doesn't really interfere with the actual riding experience, nor the integrity or the strength of the bike itself. So now let's actually ride this thing and talk about the pedal assist and the throttle. Now there are 5 levels of pedal assist that will kind of correlate with how fast and how much assist you're actually going to receive from the bike. But the cool thing about this bike versus some of the other budget e-bikes in the same kind of class is it uses a torque sensor. Most of the other bikes that I've checked out, if you go ahead and set it to the max assist level, for example 5, and you go ahead and start pedaling, what it's going to do is deliver the entire strength of the motor immediately. And that's just really not that safe, because then it could go ahead and just throw you off the bike. Now with the torque sensor on this HOVSCO bike, what it's going to do is use the pressure that you're actually pedaling to go ahead and kind of calculate how it's going to deliver that assist. So even if you start on 5, if you start off pedaling lightly, it's not going to go ahead and throw you back off the bike. It's going to start off going a little easier at first, and as you increase your speed and your pressure pedaling, it's going to begin using the full strength of the motor. And we can actually see here on the screen that that little bar underneath the mile per hour and the actual assist level is giving us real-time feedback of how much of the engine's power that the bike is receiving. So overall, super cool, and something I do actually kind of prefer over a lot of the other e-bikes. Granted, you are going to have to give it a little more effort on your end when it comes to getting up to the full 20 miles per hour on level 5, but then again, of course, you can always just go ahead and use the manual throttle lever if you would like to. Now with all this, I personally have been riding it around for a few months now, and I do have to say it is overall a very pleasurable experience. When it comes to tackling hills, it shoots up normal grades with absolutely no issue at all. When using pedal assist, you could barely feel the hills under you, and throttles I really only notice a slight slowdown. The bike is fast, and because of the actual tires, it handles very well. In numerous circumstances, you can see here I'm actually taking it off-road on some trail riding, and it did very well. It does have suspension on the front forks, which is definitely helpful, but taking on some rougher terrain isn't always the best, as there isn't any rear suspension because this is a budget e-bike. In comparison to some of the actual off-roading, super expensive ones in the $5,000 plus range, this one you could get around the $1,500 range depending on if they're running any discounts or things like that. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, so I've ridden it on the snow, in the sand, over gravel, and overall it has been really nice. So overall, for a bike in this kind of price class range, this is definitely one of the best that I've reviewed. Overall, the build quality is amazing. If we look closer at the frame and all that, you could see almost no welding at all. In my patches of rough terrain, it held up perfectly fine, and during some of the issues that I had when the bike first released, customer service was on it and they were awesome overall, and just everything on the bike worked great. The brakes worked great, the actual shifting with the 7-speed chain worked perfectly fine, and there's actually a little hidden feature of the battery having a really bright LED on the back of it if you do ever need that, so that's just a little cool added touch. I even used this bike to take my dog on a walk, and with the lower setting options and the torque sensor, it was safe. I was able to keep at the preferred running speed of my dog, which was very nice, and she definitely enjoyed that. Just overall a very pleasant experience. All the buttons for all the assist settings, headlight, everything like that are super accessible, and I do like how for the actual chain shifter, they're using the thumb style instead of the kind of rounded gear knob that you see on a lot of the budget bikes. Overall, I would definitely have to recommend this bike, and of course I will be linking down below to purchase it if you are interested. And we're going to go ahead and end off this video with some additional riding footage, so I do hope you enjoy. Have a beautiful day, and goodbye.